Okay, what do I have, cooties or what? Everybody's way in the back. Is everyone here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Well, maybe not, but
I see about 13, about 13. Yeah, just after 9. What we have up here, and the way I wanted to start this was lingering, burning issues relative to what we started last week with the PowerPoint as video, which Jack did, which we gave you a homework assignment, and I don't know how many of you completed that. I received maybe 3 or 4 of you that sent them to me and shared them with me, and some of them were outstanding, and some of them were, certainly okay, because it was very simple, just one slide. But some of them didn't have a voiceover, and it was supposed to have a voiceover. So there's some things that you may or may not have had a chance to do. And it's not all that important that you have that video for this activity today, but I do have some that I've shared with you on my Google Drive. Have you been invited? Has anybody been getting those? See, I've got this whole list of emails, and I don't know which emails are what, but I mean, you really need to be on your Google account. You need to be logged into your Google account to have access to get them. Well, Jack, did you want to talk about this document real quick? And this last one, which is where it was at the end of the slide presentation, a lot of you might have missed creating the video itself. So this is really important in making sure that the last step that you do is actually creating an MP4 file that can be used elsewhere, can be played in a video player. So this will be sent out then, Jack? Is that okay? So it's just a little helper. All right. So where do we begin? Well, I'm going to start this. That's working okay, I guess. We had this problem before with my screen being divided, but it seems like it's working okay, I guess. All right, so to start this off, this session, which is an hour and a half, if everything goes well, we should finish early and then have an opportunity to have some questions and answers and maybe, maybe actually do some of the work. Because I'm going to ask you to build. This is going to be an interactive workshop where you're actually going to build this tutorial movie today while we're here. We're going to do it together. And a little bit different. I could have I took the approach that Jack did. I could have made all the instructionals and had you do it on your own and off-site. But I felt like this little window might give us the best opportunity to do this together. Now, I think I asked this question once before. How many of you have used Movie Maker before? So a few of you have. This might get really kind of boring and redundant, but if so, just bear with me, bear with us. If you have experience with Movie Maker, if you could help circulate, if you're really comfortable with what I'm covering, if you could help circulate also as a helper for some others that might be struggling, that would help, because I'm going to have to keep moving. Now, I realize that there are people that are faster and slower at doing this. We're going to have to kind of go through this at a pace that's going to be at least acceptable to the norm here. So that's what my plan is to get through this tutorial. And the goal of the tutorial is we're going to somewhat create a CBL, challenge-based learning, or STEM video with the following components. Really, we're just using that as because that's what we're talking about here, is STEM education and challenge-based learning. We don't have enough to build your project that you're going to build today for your assignment. The ones that you did for the PowerPoint perhaps were usable for your unit. This one is not intended for that purpose. This is intended for you to just touch Movie Maker and plug some stuff in there and see how it works. Okay, and then we'll throw it away when it's all done. It's a very little value. But we're going to put pictures, learn how to put pictures in, video clips, music, text, and also a voiceover. Okay, it's going to be covered. It says, if you don't have a copy, now I believe all of you have Movie Maker on your laptops. That's one thing you'd have to check, but it was installed on there by the IT staff, so I'm assuming that if you didn't, for whatever reason, we have a URL here, link that will let you do that. So the first thing we're going to talk about before anything is getting projects organized. So it doesn't matter what video editor you use, what video project you build, what PowerPoint project or presentation you might be building. This is a good way to approach any project that has multimedia in it. And that is to have it organized. Now, I can preach that all that I want, and I preach it all the time, and I'm guilty of not following it, as are all of you, because we get stretched out and we get things kind of put all around places, and they're not always in this one container that they're supposed to be. Jack.
Yeah, I would like to reemphasize what he just said, because when I put all my videos in, I use exactly his technique. I put my video clips in one file, my PowerPoint presentation in another folder. I mean, so take Danny's advice, organize, and it'll save yourself a lot of time in the long run.
Right. So I can give you a scenario of why it's important, but I'm suggesting here that we're going to do, and I'm going to demonstrate this, and you'll do it. So don't do it right now. Just let me ramble here for a second. But it says CEEMS Video Tutorial Project. So that's a folder on your computer someplace, and I've got it under Documents. But it doesn't matter where you put it, as long as you know where you put it. The important thing is that inside that folder, meaning I'm using it as a container. Inside that container, I wish I had a physical thing. Here, I got some. Here's my container. I got a container. And inside this container, I'm going to take my video clip files, and I'm going to put them in this folder. My pictures, the digital pictures, I'm going to put them in that folder. The voiceover and there, everything's a file, right? All the files that are going to be part of this project are inside this container. And if they're in this container, which is the folder, you can transfer the folder any place, and the project will flow with it. If you have files outside of the folder on your computer, you can build your project. Your computer will go out and find where these things are, and it'll keep it all together. As soon as you move the project someplace else, it won't be able to find those other components. And that's what happens. So if you want transferability, of course, if you're just building one project on your laptop and you finish it and you turn it into an MP4 and you upload it to YouTube and all of that, it's done, right? Well, what if you want to edit it? What if you come back next year and you want to edit it and you don't have the same laptop? I guess they will, though, won't they? Or what if your laptop breaks? Oh, that happened a few times. You get a new one. If you have this container with all of the components in it, your project will never be lost, and all of the components will be part of it. This is terribly important for multimedia projects, no matter what kind they are. So I wanted to just give you that little preaching. So let's see where I am here. So let's go ahead and do that, except I can't do it there. Jack, why does this do this to me? I apologize for this, but there is a problem with the way this is set up. And it does it every time. I want to duplicate my displays instead.
You need to select mirror in on your display properties.
Is it on this or on this? So I've got it here, and I say keep, but then it seems to go away. This is what I want.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I want. If it holds it, this is what I want.
If you hold the command, and I think it's the
F7,
P,
Alt P,
PM,
yeah.
I think is.
So there's that. Okay, so this is where I was, right? Right here? No, it jumped right back. Jumped right back. Well, I'll just have to go the way that works. It just doesn't do it. Oh, this is frustrating. Wow.
You need me to call the electronic class people?
I guess it was here, yeah.
You can give them a call. You want us to call the electronic class people?
Says keep changes, it just won't keep them. As soon as,
We can call.
You want us to call the electronic?
I don't know that by then, and I don't know if it'll make any difference. I think we can work around it.
They're right around the corner here.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
really
yeah, I'll
close
call.
by.
I'll leave the room and call them so that we don't.
Okay, so I'm going to do, if you guys will follow along here, we're back on the desktop. You should be on your desktop. And what we want to do is click on this, one of these, had this thing all working great at home where I could have them open right on top of the other window. You go to the libraries and go to documents, and in there we want to create a new folder. You could put your name if you want. Can't even spell my name. I'm going to call it actually Movie Maker. It really doesn't matter all that much what you identify it as long as this is the one for your tutorial. All right? Now, if you did what I had sent you before, you would have had, that's not it. That's not it either. Oh, on my desktop. I downloaded a folder.
You're supposed to just create a folder under your documents called CEEMS.
There's a tutorial movie maker folder that I sent you, I shared with you that has this content. Tutorial movie material. How many of you downloaded that to your desktop?
Where is that material?
I shared it with you over your email. It was a Google folder with documents.
Do you need to download it, or can we just have it on our Google Drive?
You'll need to download it.
You need to download it off of it?
You need to download it to your desktop. And then you'll have these options, 3 types of media: music, pictures, and videos. And this is a good way to keep your media separated in the folder, although it's not, unless you're going to have an awful lot of different variety, unless it's a really big video project, you can keep them all in one container. You don't have to have them separated the way we did. But if you start making more videos, it's probably a good idea to keep audio separated from pictures and videos. So here's a couple that I put up in there from last year, actually. And then here's some pictures. Then we found some of these, that are appropriate, big idea, stuff like that. And these are just pictures that helps make the video at least pointed in that direction. And they're just graphics. Notice that they're not necessarily 16 by 9 format. They're not formatted for the movie screen, so they will fit on the picture screen the way they can. And the idea here is we gave you a bunch of these, and then there's the music files, and there's a few of them that come with the computer. I have a question that you might be able to answer. When I do this, and if I play it, it goes immediately into this mode here, which I don't want. I want it to be a mirror. I want it to be.
This is a feature in the new PowerPoint Office 2010, so I don't think you can change it.
You can't change it.
Yeah, because this is a new PowerPoint, and there's a new feature there.
So there's no, because every time I change the display, it goes right
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
There's
but
no way. Reading view? Maybe reading view works.
but it does not project there, I guess.
It doesn't project. Yeah, you're right. Why not?
Because it's a new feature they have added in the new.
Well, it's not good
Yeah.
for us. Okay. Well, you're
Do you
excused.
want to,
There's
roll
nothing
back
else
to
I
the-
can do. No. Oh, how would I do that? How would I go
think
back?
you just have to put Microsoft Office 2000.
Oh, 10 or something?
Yeah, 2010.
No. This is fine. No, this will work.
Okay.
This is fine. Yeah, no problem. Okay. So now what I do, that throws the whole thing off, It keeps throwing it back out of there. So if I want to get my desktop back, you know what I'm saying? It's still not back.
I think you just have to duplicate your thing.
I did. I go down here and I change it to duplicate. and then I want to apply. But it does, as soon as I go to PowerPoint, it's gone. So now I got what I want.
Yeah.
But as soon as I go to this,
And when you play the slideshow,
it
it's
goes
going
back.
to show your next slide on the side.
Right.
So that.
But how do I get back to the desktop?
When
You're
you
saying
win-
I cannot.
Okay. Now, if you want to play your slide,
But if I do this reading view, it won't work. Is that what you're telling me? It did. So maybe that's the way to go.
yeah. If you play the slideshow, it's gonna.
Okay. All right. So I won't play it. I'll just view it, read it, whatever that is. Okay, good.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Okay. Wrong one. So those were the music files. He came in there. So I found there's a different way I can play this. It's called the reading view of PowerPoint, and it'll hold. We hope it holds. And these are some music files. Now, we put these up there to make this easier on you. However, if you didn't download them, or if you're having trouble downloading them, it really doesn't matter if you use these files or not, as long as you put in pictures, a video clip, and music, and a voiceover. Okay? So it doesn't matter what media you use. We're hoping that you keep it STEM oriented, but it is a tutorial, and I'm not so concerned about the content or the story that you're telling. I'm just more interested in you putting the elements together. Okay, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on getting these particular files on your desktop. If you have them there, great, you can use them. If not, you're welcome to go out to the internet and search images for any images you want and download them to your computer. You can use the music files that are on your libraries under music, right? There's also some pictures there that you can use. That's what we did the first year. But we wanted to try to make it a little bit more like this. So how many of you have a folder? Have you been successful to get your folder up there with the CEEMS project? And whether or not you have files to use, we'll just see how that goes. So I'm going to go back to this and hopefully it'll work. Hey, it worked. How about that? All right, so the idea was to copy pictures, videos, and music files from that tutorial movie material folder into your project folder. Now this gets a little confusing because especially with naming these things. This is tutorial movie material, the stuff that I gave you, collection of pictures, music, and video clips. And what I'm asking you to do is not take them all, but just take a few of them. This would be an exercise as if when you're building your own video, that you would be going out collecting content and putting it into your project folder. All right? So basically what I'm asking you to do here is to decide what pictures you want to use, what music file you want to use, and what video clip or clips you'd want to use. So before doing this, let me just play you an example of what I did. Here is my Movie Maker project that I did, which is what I'm asking you to do, okay? And I'll play it full screen. And believe me, this is not a great video, but.
Dennis Dupps, Movie Maker tutorial. So what is the big idea and what are the essential questions? With that, we will get a challenge. So tell me.
This isn't a challenge.
2 kitty cats. 1, 2, because I got stuff I can do. I like playing in my treehouse. I like ponies and lip gloss.
Then we'll have some objectives that lead to a STEM education project.
What is STEM? It's the acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics.
And it's scrolling credits at the end. So pretty simple, right? So that's what this tutorial project's about. I have what's new in Movie Maker that we didn't have a year ago is that they have improved it ever so slightly to allow you to do a voiceover if you have a microphone attached. I think actually it would have worked last year, but I never had a microphone attached to my computer. But you can actually do a voiceover. See where it says record narration right there? So that wasn't an option on mine a year ago. Adding music, adding videos and photos are on this particular link. I'm just giving you an overview here of what it looks like. Here's where you do the titles, the captions, and the credits. That's the text that gets put on there. If you were going to web camera video, in other words, if you had a camera on here, and you do on your laptop, if you want to film yourself, like a Skype thing, you can record yourself that way too, although the quality's never very good. And then taking a snapshot of the screen, that kind of thing, so of a preview. But I'm not suggesting you play with all. I mean, you can play with all of it, and there's some things here I'm not even familiar with. But head is shut down, huh? Didn't know that. Why did it do that? Restore project. There it is. It's back. So I'm going to lead you through creating this. Yes. Yes.
How long did it take you to create that?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah. That was after I moved all the media in. Plus, I've made hundreds of these.
Right. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
It took you like an hour.
No.
Like
No. You'll find this to be pretty easy. Okay. Let's go back. So, I'm not. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. I think that if you could, let's take. I don't know how much time should we take here. Let's take 5 minutes and organize your project folder, meaning that go out and get some pictures. If you've got them on your desktop, all you have to do is move them into your project folder. And let's get started with building your first Movie Maker project, okay? So if you'll look up here with me, this is just the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 or more pictures. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to escape out of here. And you come down to you're going to have to find the program in here is going to be Windows Live Movie Maker. If it's not on your desktop, I put mine down in my taskbar, but if you click on that, it'll launch it. And of course, this is the one I did. I'm going to make a new movie, new project. And I'm going to call it Movie Maker Project Tutorial 2. And I'm putting it inside my CEEMS video tutorial project folder. I think that's important too, to keep your project folder and your project media all in the same container. Don't put it outside of that. Under my documents.
Danny, I've got a question. Instead of doing all this on my computer, on my desktop, I'm doing this in Google Docs. Is that okay? Because I want to be able to, like, if I'm working on this computer on that project, and then also at school, that it's there also.
I would not recommend that.
So you want me to save all these files here?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about what she just said. She's talking about having all of the media up on Google Drive, which you can have the Google Drive synced to your laptop, to your
Right.
so it's here, and that is okay if you're using the files that are on the computer. Okay, if you have them downloaded on Google Drive on your local Google Drive folder on your computer, that's okay. Okay, but if it's a cloud storage of any place, if there's anywhere else over any kind of a network that you're trying to put media into a project file folder, a project, it will not work well. And the reason why it won't is the speed of the connections, wherever this is coming from, network-wise. So if it's on a local computer, you've got the speed of the hard drives that are internal. That's going to, because media, working with media is very demanding of your processor, okay? So you really need to have everything on your computer to make it efficient. So it's really important that you do all your work on a desktop, preferably, but it will work on a laptop. You know, but laptops aren't typically as powerful as some desktops. It all depends on how old the desktop is. But when you build it on a computer, and then when you go to sharing it, then you go out to the cloud and to the Google Drives and all of that. Okay? Is that making any sense? But if you do have a Google Drive synchronized and it's on your desktop, that is a good idea to do that because you're still using the local file. Okay. So here I am with this project, and I'm going to go to the Home. And when you click the Home button, this is where you can start adding components, media. So I'm going to click Photos and Videos, and immediately it jumped to this library. Well, I don't want to go to that. I'm going to go to Documents, and I'm going to go to my project folder where I already put in some things in here. I did what I just asked you to do. I'm going to make it smaller. And so I've got an assortment of pictures that I can insert. It doesn't matter right now the order of these. In other words, you don't have to build this story the way you want it to be, because once you put it in your timeline, you can sort it around. You can move it just by clicking and dragging it to different positions. So right now, let's just put 2 pictures in. So you can pick a big idea or whatever you want to pick. Doesn't matter. I guess I'm going to pick this STEM education. And you can actually pick 2, and I'll just say open. So it put them in. And if I play this, it's not playing. Oh, I know why it's not playing. It's rendering. There's that one. Why is that one not playing? I think I picked the wrong thing. Hang on. Home. Picture. Oh, I picked that. I picked the whole movie. Sorry. This is the one I want. Here we go. I picked my original movie. That was a mistake. So when I play this, it's just 2 still pictures. Okay? So let's say the space bar stops it from playing. Let's say I want the big idea first, so I just grab it and move it over here to the first position. That's how simple it is to reorganize where you want the positioning of these things. The other thing I want to talk to you about is for pictures, there's some things you can do. You can edit them. And one of the things, the default is 7 seconds. Still pictures on the screen for 7 seconds is enormously boring. You just do not want that. With videos, you want to keep the action moving. However, if there's a story to be told, if you're narrating, you might want the slide to be up longer to talk about whatever's on that slide. The slide also can be moving, right? You could have created a slide in PowerPoint that you animated the text, the bullets and whatnot, in which case you might need it to be up there for 10 seconds because you've got to read or talk about all of those bullets. So you can adjust when you put things in there. Now that'll come in. If you do the PowerPoint and you save it as a MPEG-4, it'll be the length of time that you want it to be. Now, having said that, let's just change this to 2 seconds. And notice that I have to do that for each. Now, you could select with the control key, you can select more than one and change them at the same time. See, now there are 2, I can make it 1. And if you go back here, that's 1. And if I go back here, that's 1. So you can do lots of things in here if you select multiple things and you can change them. I'm making them 2 seconds. All right? The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some animations to this. So you can, I'm not going to, these are transitions over here, but I'm going to come over here and put some kind of movement to it. And if you go down, there's lots of different things you can do. The Ken Burns effect, anybody know who Ken Burns is? Ken Burns, a famous documentary producer. he made famous that effect of using a lot of still pictures that he digitized and then he animated them in slow motion because it's a video. And video should be moving. So even the slightest amount of motion is good. Now, some people overuse this, and I'll give you an example. If you have text on the screen and if I use this particular effect, and if I play it, that's not too bad. Okay, but see how the words go off the screen on the second one? So you may not, and that's what when I view some people's videos that have done these things, if you have text on the screen, don't animate it so that the text goes off the screen. Find something else. Find a different effect. So I'll go ahead and pick 2 effects, and I'll go to my animations. And I think one of the best ones you can do is, unfortunately, it's probably way down. There it is. The one that grows. I think that one generally, well, that's getting smaller, but that's okay, because that means the words are, becoming more legible. So just a little bit of movement is nice. It's not really doing anything other than just putting motion in there. I'll go back. One of the other things, shoot. Getting a little off topic here. So we're going to now add a video clip, one video clip which was in there, and we're going to trim it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. How many of you have 2 pictures in your timeline? Everybody there? Good. Easy. Easy peasy. All right. So let's go back. And now what I'm going to do is and it doesn't matter where you put it. You can put your placeholder in between, and you can put it in the middle of them. Wherever you insert, wherever that placeholder is, the marker point, that's where you'll be. I'm going to go back to home. I'm going to add a video this time, and the only video that I have is this interview stem. So I'll put that one in. You guys might have one of the others, it doesn't matter. And it is this whole length here, and if I play it.
So tell me, why should we hire you?
I have 2 kitty cats.
1, 2. All right, so let's say I just want the first part of that. So I'm just going to back this up just ever so slightly. 1, 2. And then what I'm going to do is go to Edit, and right there is a split. Now the trim allows you to set the start and the stop if you wanted to go in the middle, but I kind of like using trim, that way I have total control. So now I trim this clip from the other clip, and I'm just going to take the back end of it and just hit the delete key. And it's gone, and all I've got is him asking the question and her giving one answer.
So tell me, why should we hire you?
I have 2 kitty cats. 1, 2.
So that's it. Okay, a little abrupt. It's not the best. You can't get into actual frame edits as easily, but it does work. So that's as simply as all I wanted you to do is just drop a video in and trim it. Yes?
And that's the reason why if you're interviewing your kids or you're doing some information, kind of a voiceover type thing, make sure that you have lead time on both ends.
Right.
So that it doesn't wind up that you cut more.
Right. That's an excellent suggestion, and we call it lead footage, tail footage. It's always important to have, I always say 5 seconds on either end. If you can just let the camera run. If you're shooting footage, start it early. No big deal. It lets your audience get, or whoever you're interviewing, you let them get comfortable.
If you're asking somebody a question, if you tell them in your head, count to 5 before you answer me,
Yeah.
that way you have some wiggle room between their question and their answer in case you want to cut the question off and put that as a subtitle.
Right. Yeah, a lot of times I'll even ask them to repeat the question. Tell me your name and their question and then answer. And a lot of times they'll be thinking, But those are all just little techniques that you can develop. But the important thing is that you do not want to use a complete video clip of anything that you've got. You just don't want to do that. All right? I know that everything you shoot is valuable. I don't know how many of you have gone on vacations and you take pictures and video and then you try to decide afterward what you're going to throw out. And no one ever wants to throw out anything. So they just have raw footage of an hour and a half of video and they make their family watch it all and all their friends. So with today's tools, you can make it so much more vibrant, fast-paced, and just get the real good stuff. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for short and sweet, and look for that, like we call it sound bites. You're looking for what is important to the story, and that's the part that you use. So that's the video clip part of it. Now we're going to add some text with an opening title and captions. And it says add captions to all pictures and video clips. You don't necessarily have, I want you to do that for the tutorial. You don't necessarily have to do that for your CBL unit, for every picture, captions, but I'm just telling you that captions are powerful. When you put a picture up, a picture might say 1,000 words, but what words are you wanting them to get? Which words are you wanting them to get? This picture is of kids working on something. What are they working on? So just a little caption under there when you're showing kids in action helps to define or helps to tell the story the way you want to direct your audience to view it. So that's why captions are important. And ending credits. We've debated over this because it does extend the length of your video. But if you use content that is not your own, you should give credit to the author. So if you go out on YouTube and you find some kind of a really good video on your CBL unit, and I'm going to encourage you to do that, especially for the hook. If you're trying to find something out there that might really be engaging to the students or other teachers about this process that you're going through, if you find someone else has done it, why recreate the wheel? Go out there and find it. You can then convert it to an MP4 file, drop it into your project, and use that little gem piece of that video that really fits. And this is how you can use PowerPoint. So the question was, well, can you build your whole project in PowerPoint? As a video, yes, but Movie Maker gives you just a little bit more added video editing power. And sometimes what I like to recommend is you use multiple tools to build your video. You don't have to just use Movie Maker. Use Movie Maker maybe just to convert your videos, drop them in and trim them up into that little piece because it's easier here maybe than it is in PowerPoint. Can you trim it up in PowerPoint? Yes, you can do it there too. But you can put it in here, put the captions on. You can do lots of things in here and finish this little video clip and then drop that into PowerPoint. Or vice versa. Do your PowerPoint slide animations, drop that into Movie Maker. It doesn't matter which direction, which tool you use. And if you have used other editors, you don't have to build it on this particular laptop. If you have them at your disposal, if you have iMovie or Macs or anything that you at home, desktop, whatever you have that you're comfortable with, you can use whatever you want to make your video or the components of your video. Okay, so you're not stuck in a box here. This is total flexibility. So how are we going to do the text? So here's how we do that. So what I'm going to do first is go to the very beginning, and I'm going to go back home, and I'm going to do the opening title. Now, one thing about Movie Maker is they have limited creativity. It's very limited. Anytime someone uses titling from Movie Maker, I know you used Movie Maker because I've seen all of their titles. Does that make it bad? No, it just means that it's pretty clear what tool you use to make it. All right, and after a while, you just get a little bit bored with the same stuff over and over. So I'm going to type in here my name. And I'm going to call it Movie Maker Tutorial. Boy, I'm having trouble. I had a wisdom tooth taken out. So I have an excuse. But I'm not on drugs. I was the first day. I did have the IV sedation. And my wife said for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, I was like, I don't remember much of anything. I ate some yogurt, and I don't remember that. And I was looking around the car, where's my yogurt? She said, you already ate your yogurt. I said, you're just lying to me. I didn't do it. Anyway. So where am I? Okay, so what I'm going to do here on this text is format the text. Now, on formatting the text, do you see where that is up here? There's some things you can do. if you click on this, it shows you an effect. See how that, and then this one grows, it's kind of like a dissolve zoom small. This one actually does the zoom in big. And then this is the one I like the best because it's got a little something in it. Well, let's go down and look at them all. You got all these kinds of things. You got some of these with a mask on them. It's got a little section there that's masked off. It really doesn't matter what you use. They call this cinematic stuff here. And here's a lower third. Well, it's not a lower third. Why am I saying that? Here's some from with a center bar. A lot of people use that. And they're all fine. That's kind of a nice thing. You can use whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. Okay? So I'll use that one this time. And we'll play it. And that comes in, a little graphic comes in. There's your title. Okay? Now, let's go to this big idea, and I'm going to put a title on that. So, wait a second here. Home. I'm going to put a caption on that. So when I put a caption, I went home, I clicked on top of the picture, and now I'm going to put a caption on that. What would I put? I'm just going to put light bulb. And I can make it, formatting the text, I can make it bigger. I can make it bold. I can make it a color, although white is the default, and generally white is the best color to choose on top of video. So I would not get carried away with colors, but then since you have white in here already, you might pick something like yellow just to make it different. You can italicize it. I kind of like italics for captions. It kind of separates it from generally anything else that's up there on the screen typically. And you can center it, left align, and all that kind of stuff. And you can also, editing the text just lets you change the content. But you can change the start time and the duration of the text. Now it's set at 2 seconds. Why? Anybody know why? By default. That was the length of the slide, right? So because I applied the caption to that particular picture, it made it 2 seconds. But what if I wanted to maybe just be on the screen for less than that? I'll make it 1.5. I have the power to do that. Enter. There we go. So if I go back and notice it'll go off before it plays that thing, then it'll play the next thing and the text will appear, but it'll disappear after 1.5 seconds. And that'll go away. Okay. So you have control. So you have control of that. And you can move it around by formatting. Say, okay, well, I want it to start at 7.5 seconds, and then we'll go back. And so now, instead of it appearing right away, it'll go to the next one, and it won't appear right. See, it came at like a 0.2 of a second delay before it appeared. Okay. If I double click on this again, I'm still in edit mode here. I don't have any other. I can have this text come in a different way. I can have it animate. See how the text comes in like that? Like that. Are you watching what's going on here? If I click this, you can see all of these different effects. This is the way you can animate the way the title, the captions come in as well. And sometimes it's nice to have this little bar at the bottom. I kind of like that one in particular. All depends on what you're trying to do, but I really like this particular one. So now if I go back to here, let's see, I'll go back to the beginning. I'll play it full screen to give you the full effect here. No music yet. And then this will animate in, and it went out because I did it so fast. But, and then on this one, I'll put another caption. And then this one will be, what am I going to put here? Any ideas for captions for this picture? Put Start STEM and ECBL. And I'm going to move this to the top because I've got that STEM education at the bottom. So you don't have to have it always at the bottom, although that's most common. So I want to make it a little bigger, go up to 36 again. Bold. I'll leave this white. I'll make it italics. And then I'll see. You can outline the text too. I don't know if that'll make it look good or not. You can experiment with this. I'll just do that one. That just snaps in there.
So tell me.
All right. And on this particular clip, I'm going to put a caption on it as well. And this is the video clip. And format.
So tell me.
And I'm going to use that again. And that's up for the whole clip, but that's fine.
So tell me, why should we hire you?
I have 2 kitty cats. One.
Now, typically, what I would do there is if I'm interviewing someone, is I would put the person's name. So if you are going to do some people, if you're interviewing people, put their name and their title, who they are. If it's a student, you're supposed to have the release forms to use them in your media, posters or this, right? They have that all approved. But if you don't want to use their first names or their last names because they're kids and this and that and the other, a lot of times it's best just use maybe first name. Or what I do is just put math student or 7th grade student or something like that that's generic so that you're not identifying exactly who they are. But you get an idea of what they're representing. Knowing their name is not important to the greater community, right? Who cares? But you're getting a 7th grade perspective of what they just went through. So I just use word interview, but it could have been somebody's name, same thing. All right? So let's see. What else do I have? Let's go back. All right. Everybody have some text in there? If I need to give you a little time, or have you been doing it right along with me? Everybody keeping up? Very good. All right. So now we're going to add an audio track, music, and the narration, which is on that slide. So I'll demonstrate that. And this PowerPoint presentation is available. It'll be on the CEEMS wiki, as well as I'm going to show you another wiki that I made just for this video workshop materials. So let's go back here and I'll just demonstrate here. So I'm going to go back to the very beginning and go back to home. Now I'm going to add music. And I'm going to just go from where it says add music. And then I'm going to go, I have to make sure I find my tutorial folder. These are the two, the narration obviously I created. The only one I have in there now is tranquil music, which is the birds chirping. You can pick whatever you want. Remember, if you do come out of the sample music, you should have moved it into the folder, but I did not. So I'm going to stay with what I've got here. And I'm going to use my tranquil track. And if I play that, you'll hear birds chirping.
So tell me, why should we hire you?
Now you see there's birds chirping in the middle of the interview. We don't want that. So how can we edit the music track? Quite simply, we can move this right to where that interview starts. Click on the track. I got to get it right there. Shoot. Bring it right to the beginning of that clip. And then you do music tools, options, split. And I just split that music file and I can delete that. What? Oh, I made a mistake. I'll edit undo, so I put it back. I'll edit undo again. There's my whole thing. So my music track is playing, right? And it's playing all the way through. And the birds are chirping.
So tell me, why should we hire you?
Hear the birds?
Two kitchens.
I don't want the music over the top of the fact that there's already music playing during this interview clip. So in order to take it out, you just move the head, which is that little marker point right there, and then you just go to the Music Tools option, split. And then you just, since it's selected there, you just hit the delete key, and that little piece of music is gone. Now let's talk about some other things you can do with music. If you click on the music track and you do the options, notice I can control the volume as well. Here's my volume. So you'll find that when we do the voiceover narration, you're going to want to take a section of your music track and drop the volume so that the music doesn't overpower your voice. And these are some tools I think that might be a little bit better in Movie Maker than they are in PowerPoint. Just the control that you might have for some of this. We don't need to do much of it. I'm going to leave it like it is for now. But this track is here. And I can also fade it in. Yes? Yeah.
Jimmy, just for anybody, because I've used this a lot in my class.
Yes.
If you go, when you're doing your music and you split it, if you're trying to get rid of it, you have to delete it. Because if you cut it, it'll still show because the program will think that you're trying to move it, so it won't take out that information.
Right.
So if you don't want it at all, you have to delete it.
Right.
Instead
You
of
have to
just
do
trying to
delete.
cut it.
You can't do right click and cut. That's what I tried. I said,
No, you have to hit the delete key. Yeah, but there's some ways that you can control where it starts and stops. So I'm over here with fading in. I think it's a good idea to fade in. Generally, I always default to medium. Not a big deal because the birds don't start right away, but I just as a rule, I generally do that. And at the end, since I'm coming toward the end of this, I would probably fade it out fast, just so that it kind of goes off before this interview starts. Notice also that I can start my time. I can have it start not at the beginning of the video. I can have it any second or part of a second. I can have the start point, start time, start point. Ending point happens to be 10.93 seconds. I can change that. I have total control over all of those things.
Also having music fade in and out is usually, or fade out especially if you're going into something else.
Yes, that's why, yeah, and especially at the end of your project. And I've noticed a lot of people from prior cohorts and stuff that have made their videos and they let their music go, and when it hits the end, it's just a shock, whereas all they need to do is fade it out so it seems like it's a desired ending, So, and that's one of the ways to do it. Yeah.
So if I'm changing the music on the end of my video, and I change it from 10.93 to 10.8, and saved it, if I change my mind and wanted to go back to 10.93, can I do that?
Anytime.
Or is that information going to be gone now?
You can always edit it. You can always change the numbers. And that's exactly a good point. And as you're building this and you start adding more content and stuff, you're probably going to have to shuffle this around. So the main thing I wanted you to know about are these controls up here, because here's what happens to a lot of novice beginners and my students at school is you can actually take this audio track and you can move it. Drag it and move it. And they try to shortcut this and drag it to where they want it and stuff, and it's hard to do that. It's much easier to dial in numbers, So, well, I'm just going to undo. So the best way to edit these things is to get in here and start working with the specifications, okay? The properties of whatever it is you're working with. Okay. And then the voiceover, you're not going to do this right now because we'd have so much voices in here, but I'd like for you to maybe experiment with it. But I'm going to show you, I have this, which is similar to the one Jack had. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here just to demonstrate. All I can say is it worked from home. It should work from here. Okay. Bingo. I heard something. All right, so I'm going to go back to my narration, go back home. I'm going to say Narration. Microphone, yes. Okay, that's all okay. And then I'm going to just say start. Denny Dupps, Movie Maker tutorial. Okay. I was looking for the stop button, but it disappeared. So notice what happened was it created another audio track. So you actually do have the ability to do 2 tracks, and you have control over those as well. So if I play this, I got to take it out now.
Denny Dupps, Movie Maker tutorial.
So very simply, yes,
Is it just 2 tracks you're limited to, or can you have
2 tracks is all you got.
So tell me,
Yeah.
why should we hire you?
So you can also, that didn't sound too bad. I didn't have to adjust anything, did I? I mean, the music track, because I used that
Denny
tranquil,
Dupps, Movie Maker tutorial.
so it didn't interfere. So I didn't have to adjust it, but you can, there's your narration tools. You can change the volume of that. A lot of times I find you need to bring it up, bring the narration up. Notice that this was a $49 Staples Platronics. I'm not trying to sell them. It was on sale at Staples, that's why I bought it. But regularly like $79 or something. But I was impressed with the quality. I mean, I think it's fine. My voice is terrible, but other than that, it's, it's fine. It's much better than the speaker or the microphone that's built in. But you're welcome to use the speaker or the microphone that's built in, no problem at all. But you can, notice you have your music tools and your narration tools, so you can go in there, you can fade your voice in and out and so forth. You can do your start times and change those. There's all kinds of settings that you can do to control all of this. So I'm not asking you to do the voiceover right now, but I'd like you to try it on your own with this project before you actually finalize it, okay? And then transitions, I also think it's a good idea to transition between elements. However, with a lot of visuals, pictures, and so forth, it's not necessary. You can let them cut from one to the other. I mean, in the movie industry, there's very, very little transitions that are done. But sometimes it can be for effect. But let's just do it just so you have the experience of doing it. So what I'm going to do is go back to visual effects, or actually animations, and this is the transitions between them. You can apply to all, which is what most people do, although I'd recommend maybe not doing that and just use it where it's affecting. So I'm going to use it strictly on between my opening title and my first slide, and you can open this window to see which ones are available. Not a whole lot here. There's got to be a whole lot more. Yeah, there we go. So some of them are really bad. I think this one here, if it'll say dissolve, these 2 right in here, cinematic ones, I think are the best. The wipes aren't bad. I like those. Some of these peeling pages and all, they're okay. People get excited about all that. Not all excited about all these pixelations things, but they're okay. You're welcome to use any of this that you want. And some of this stuff, heart stuff, and that's great, This has got some kind of a thing like that. So I guess I better do something that's somewhat creative, huh? My bird's just going to town, isn't it? All right, I'll do that for fun. All right, so I only did it to one. I didn't do it to all of them. So if I go back to the beginning and play it, you'll see that it comes in there.
Denny Dupps, Movie Maker tutorial.
And then it'll transition here into the start. So, all right.
So tell me, why should we hire you?
All right, let's go back. So those are transitions. Special effects, I would limit those, but I just wanted to show you that they are there and that they are available. But let's say that on that particular slide, I would like to put a visual effect on it. So let's say I wanted to change there. It's a little bit artistic. See threshold there. I can turn it black and white. Let's go to the whole list here. If I scroll down, There's some things you can do. You can turn it. That's some kind of an animation. Here's a color change. Motions and fades. I'm going to do this little color change. And so when I play that one, see how it goes through that rainbow effect? So is it important? Not necessarily, but if you really want to add a little pizzazz, you can do it. Just all takes more time, and you're limited in time, so I would not encourage you to do all of that. But it is there. Saving your projects. Now we're going to go through the final stages. Saving the project's important, and then what you do with it afterward. All right, so what I'm asking you to do here is to save the project file so that you can go back and open it, and then you can make these changes to it as you want. So you have to have the project file. The project file extension is WLMV, or I think that's it. Windows Live Movie Maker, WLMV. And if you share the WLMV with me, which a lot of people have, I cannot open it. Why do you think I can't open your project file on my computer? I do not have the media, so it won't. It'll try to open. It'll say, well, there's nothing in it. There's no content. So that's why if you share the whole container with me along with the WMLV, I can actually open your project on my file. If you share it like through Google Drive or something with everything, it works very well. So how do we save the project file? Go back here and I'll do File, Save Project As, and I've already got it named here. I'm just going to go ahead and name it 2. I'm going to replace that one. So that's done, very simply. Then we want to save it as a movie because it's not finished just saving it as a project. That's the project file that you can re-edit and all of that. When you save it as a video file, it's done, meaning that's a finished product. I would like to call it a draft because you'll probably make iterations of your video. You're going to make one now, right, for the CEEMS showcase. Then you're going to have to edit it to add more content to it after you've taught the lesson. So, you want to be able to open that project and add the content and then save it as a video project again, as a video file again. So you can have multiple versions of your video as well as multiple versions of your project. Now, I would even encourage you to save iterations of your project file. Just like version 1, version 2, version 3, like we talked about with your templates. You might want to do the same thing with your movie projects, video projects. Because you might want to go back. Maybe you're playing around and you're trying some things, and then you go, oh gosh, I liked it better before. So if you saved an older version of it, you could open that up. You just don't want to have too much out there to get you confused. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm just trying to make it so that you can always go back maybe to something that was good. If you have something that's good, save it as a separate file name and don't overwrite it with some new content that might be bad. Pam?
And the key thing is to name them logically.
Exactly.
Adding a number on the end is probably the best thing to do. If you call it something totally different, you're not going to remember which one was the former iteration.
Right. All right, so how to do that is you go back to home. Notice you go back to home for a lot of things. And I'm going to save movie here. And you can use recommended for this project. I usually like to keep high definition display just in case your content is there. And then it automatically named it the file name of the project, which is fine. But if you wanted to, you could put like a date, which would then identify it to the date that you're doing this. What is 7/17? Oh, my birthday, 14. It is, yeah. I'm celebrating my birthday with you all. Yeah, nothing special. I don't want to have any more. I don't want to disappear, but I like to stay where I am. You're right. Pam.
And just in case you don't know, some people don't, that you can't use the slash, like if you're doing a date.
Yeah. Some symbols Characters aren't allowed. So it takes a while, and this is a short video, right? It's building that, 30 frames a second. So if it's a 10-second video, it's got to factor all that in. So there it is, and I'll play it. Now it's playing in media player.
Denny Dupps, Movie Maker tutorial. So tell me, why should we hire?
2 Kit Kat. 1 Kit.
I forgot one thing. I forgot the credits. See, that happens, and you forget things. So I'm going to go to the end and go back home, and I'll do credits. And this is where you'll put and there's that. Now that's pretty boring without music, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add music from this point right here. And I'll put my tranquil music back in. Let's see if that does do anything at all. Yeah, it's playing. And I'll go on to that, and I'll edit that to fade out.
Danny?
Yep.
Just a point of reference, maybe clarification. There's two different files. There's the project file, and then there's the video when you make the video. The video's done, it's basically done, you can't really do anything to it.
Right.
So are you recommending that they keep version 1, 2 of both the project file and the video, or just keep changing the project file along the way and making the video?
You can just keep changing the project file along the way, but if you have a good version that you might want to not mess with, if you're tweaking things, you could possibly save versions of your project too. It just depends on if you have something that's almost complete, but you still want to add some things, and you're afraid, this might be okay. It's maybe later on that you'd want to do that. But like I'm making this video again because I didn't have the credits. I'm actually overwriting the old one. You can do that if you know that the old one's bad. You just overwrite it with the same name. But if I might want to go back to it, I would do a different name. So, yes.
If I find a video on YouTube,
yeah.
How do I take that and make it like an MP4?
I'm gonna show you that. Yeah. Very good question. Okay. Now I'm going to open the folder and just know that it's just a project. It's all in that same folder. So everything I've done is in that container, and I can put that container up on my Google Drive and share it with other people. Most importantly, as you're doing your videos, and if you wanted to do this and use the power of the cloud storage and all of that, if you do in fact do that, like Barb was talking about, is an excellent idea. You could share it with me. I can put it on my computer and I can play around with it, send you back some ideas. I won't overwrite your stuff. I'll just do a different thing with your content, and then you might say, "Oh gosh, I like that, Denny. I'll stick with that." I'm here to help you. I mean, if you have something you want to try to make this software do, I can find a way to do that for you. And sometimes this software can't do some of the wild ideas you might have. I have other tools I might be able to help you with. Okay? So I do want you to put on a creative cap here and try to make this really, really interesting and entertaining. This assignment here is not, obviously. Let's go back here, one more thing. Uploading your video to YouTube. So we've now saved the project. We've saved it as a video file. It's an MP4. Now we're going to put it up on YouTube so that it can be shared. I'm talking about the video. And this is the way we want you to do this for your wiki. And then it says get it into your wiki. There's slides 26 to 32 on the wiki tutorial. We actually kind of did that back then. You inserted a video there, but I know that was a couple weeks ago, so probably missed. So let's look at how we can do that. And this is saving it on, and I'll just do this part too. Saving your video as an MP4 file to the Google Drive. That's a good idea. this will serve as a backup in case something would happen to your laptop computer. Another reason why I would highly encourage you to take your project folder with all of the content and put it up on your Google Drive, because if your laptop crashes or if you lose that, you've lost everything. And that has happened before. And you have to start from scratch. Some people have external hard drives and they plug it in and back it up that way. It's just always good to back it up. And if you have a thumb drive, you know, a little USB thing like that, you're going to find, unless you buy a big one like this one, this is 32 gigabytes, it's about $60 now or something. They're dropping all the time. But you need a big one to hold these media files because they're very large. Okay? Good question, Mindy? No? All right, so let's think, and don't forget these resources, and that's something I wanted to show you. So we're running short on time. So I've got the video file. I'm going to go back to my YouTube account. Let's go back to my YouTube account, which you just have to go there. If you're logged into your Google account, you automatically have a YouTube account. And then all you have to do is click the upload button, select the file. I'm not going to go to downloads. I'm going to go to documents, and I'm going to go into my project file, and I'm going to search for this last video that I did. Let me make this move over so you can see. See, it's an MP4 right there. That's the one I want. And then you can rename the top. I'll just leave it like it is. Public, you can put it unlisted if you want. Unlisted means no one else can see it. I prefer leaving it public, especially since you're going to be sharing it through your wiki, things like that. And if you want to organize your YouTube account when you start making more videos, you can put CEEMS and then put all your CEEMS stuff in there. And then your personal videos could go under a different playlist. Kind of keeps it organized. So, and then you just publish it. And now it's on YouTube.
Denny Dupps, Movie Maker Tutorial.
Oh, this stuff's easy. All right, so you go up here and you click this and copy that and go back to, where's my sites? Let's see. We're going to use Jack's test wiki. And I'm going to be on the home page of Jack's test wiki, and I'm going to go up here. Whoops. I'm going to insert YouTube. I'm going to paste that. And I always like to include a title, and this is going to be Denny. All right. Then save it. And I'd like you to put this on your home page, this little practice one that you did, just so I can see where you are and what you're doing. And then after I'm done looking at it, you can take it off of there, you know, just as a place to go. And so see, now it plays right on Jack's wiki.
Denny Dupps, Movie Maker Tutorial.
So, and if you want to go full screen, you can do all of that stuff. But so that's the steps that I had in this particular presentation. And here's some more material. So let's go back to the CEEMS. Here's the main CEEMS wiki. You all have access to this now, right? And that's where the binder contents are. Scroll down through there. You can see, well, those are some things that are on there, but if there's one down here called workshops, and you'll notice that there's the wiki workshop content material and all of that. I haven't added the stuff from today yet, but I will on this page, but it's someplace else as well. There's a link above there called video materials, and there's where it actually, I have, this is what I'm going to show you next week. Next Thursday, I'm going to show you some sample videos. You can do some of this on your own if you want, but we have another 45 minutes, and I hope that next week I'm going to show you some other tools that you can use, resources. But if you're getting going with your video project right now and you want to get going ahead of time, you can look at it. It's all on here. These are some samples. There's some instructions for, we're going to talk about this next week, the unit video instructions for the showcase, how you're going to do that. I hope I've done that right.
Yeah, that's fine. We also have printed out copies, so
Oh, okay.
that
So
below you.
we're going to do that next time, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. So on this, if you'll notice, there's a separate site here. Video Workshop Wikis on a separate site, and I've already got it open. Right here. CEEMS Video Workshop. So the stuff we did today is on this particular wiki. And you'll see the Movie Maker activity. There's the stuff that I asked you to do. Actually, I wanted you to add a UC and CEEMS logo and all that kind of stuff. If you'll notice, on my wiki, I actually have more music, more graphics. So if you want to do more playing around in this tutorial just to get yourself familiar, before, there's guiding, there's all kinds of stuff. There's the NSF logo. This is where you can get some content for both your CBL unit video, as well as a little bit more stuff, pizzazz maybe for the tutorial that you're playing around with. But there's a UC. This is actually a slide. If I view this, there I've got those two on one slide. Not that that's great. It's just, that's an option. So I've got a lot of stuff on there. Where did I see a trailer of some kind? Anyway. There's the Movie Maker tutorial. I have a page which I'm going to go through in some detail next week about things, audio video resources, but you're welcome to do this on your own. This is a public access deal. I've invited you to it as well. If you want to increase your YouTube account, the default is 15 minutes. Your CBL unit video is supposed to be between 2 and 4 minutes, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. But as you start shooting footage, and if you want to put it up, and if it's over 15 minutes, all you have to do is request permission, and this is how you get it. So if you want to make your YouTube channel eligible for longer videos than 15 minutes, you can set it up with these instructions. Converting YouTube videos was asked. There's lots of ways to do it. So I'm going to demonstrate it next week. But you will probably want to be able to do this, but you can do this on your own. This YouTube downloader works very well. It doesn't convert every YouTube video, but most. So you have to try that. This is Keep Vid, which is one we use a lot at school, and it's been highly recommended. The problem with it is when you install it or engage in it, it might ask you to install the Google toolbar and this bar and that and the Yahoo, blah, 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 all kinds of extra things you don't want. You just say no to everything, and then it's fine. So you just have to be careful whenever you download free software. Just remember that for anything that you do. Here's any video converter. This is one Jack uses. This is one we use at school. It's called A-Tube Catcher. It's really nice. A-Tube Catcher will also let you screen capture. So let's say you have a YouTube video that won't convert. You can just draw a window around it and then record it right off of the screen. So these are all free. So there's a lot of good stuff up here. Zamzar is an online version. Converter Lite's one. Some of them, like Snagit, is really good. You can have a 30-day free trial. So just for making your videos here, but if you want to buy it, it's, I think, $39. Other converters, these are all good converters. Screen capture softwares. There's a Snagit again. Photo services for editing photos. I'll demonstrate some of this, but this Pixlr.com works almost like Photoshop for free on the net. I'll show you that next week. Audio tools. This Audacity is fabulous for free. And you can use, what comes with Microsoft. They have Sound Recorder on there if you wanted to do voiceover that way. But if you're integrating it right on your project, it's a lot easier. I'm going to talk to you next week, and I know you're limited on time after next week for your project, but next week I'm going to talk to you about the whole idea of telling a story with video, to try to help you as you actually complete more videos through this project. There's just limited time together, and it's 10:30. And I'm sorry, told you I'd get you out earlier. I had technical problems. I had an excuse. Finally got it worked out. Any questions, remaining, burning, whatever? If you, do they have to be you have to be somewhere? Okay, so if you want to hang around, I can hang around and answer questions. We can work on this a little bit, and but you're free to go. So, thank you very much for your. I know it's tough. It's tough to do this live, but thought it was best to get your hands on it. So.